Color correction means a lot of things. Basically, everything you ever watch in a movie, it doesn't look that way when it's first shot.
You know, whether it's changing the overall color palette or being able to single out elements, it makes the image jump. And it creates a very artificial sort of reality that you can't capture on the day. It doesn't matter how many filters or blue gels you put over a light, you can't achieve this look naturally. And yet when you see it, it looks absolutely natural. The best color correction, like any sort of work, is the kind that's invisible, that you see it and you take it at face value.
Color correction focuses first with correcting the contrast, making sure the darks are their darkest and the lights are their lightest, and you know, fixing contrast and brightness, but also obviously color correction, which means bringing out the colors, making them more vibrant, or depending on the atmosphere, the mood of the clip, it could be very dull, very uninteresting, and that's a lot of what I'm doing for Roulette, where most movies simply just need contrast corrections. This one I'm coloring for style, very much so. Each character has their own color scheme. With Dean's storyline is very much based upon withering, the withering of the body, the withering of relationships, the sort of oncoming winter. And so we went for sort of an icy blue that is gradual throughout his story, so that by the time we reach the end, it is, you know, at its fullest extreme. With Kessler, we went in a similar direction. His color is green. It starts off, now his life is never great in the first place, but at first it's simply just very desaturated. His story goes from sort of a monochromatic, unhappy, bleak sort of look to a gangrenous sort of green, the color of infection and sickness and poison. This is a scene towards the end of the movie where, as I said, we're using green for Kessler, and this scene was shot, when was this shot? Like in the middle of fall?
This was shot sometime in November.
In November. But, I mean, all the same, it still is very, very red looking. I guess it probably wasn't too cold out when you shot this, but, you know, it's autumn, the leaves are starting to die, very pretty, but it's not the color we want for this scene. This is towards the end of Kessler's story, and we want it to be a very dead, very ugly green, very desaturated green. Each square from the bottom to the top represents luma, which is the brightness. So down here would change only the dark reds in this clip, whereas up here that would only change, if I was to only do that, that only affects the very bright reds, whereas if I was down here, that only affects the dark reds, and that makes the shadows more red. Same deal with green, with blue, and simply for luma, which is just the brightness. I can change the overall brightness using the curves. For this clip, what I did was take the midtones and highlights and pull them more towards green. So already we're getting pretty close to what we had. Not change them too much, because if I bring them all the way over, then we get some crazy, you know, 70s horror stuff. I'm going to decrease the saturation so that it looks way deader than before. Like if you look over here, what I just did was take it from that to that, and that's looking way deader. That's way more the style that we're going for this.
Sunny is, you know, she is sunshine. She is sunshine in every way. Representing, you know, sort of the fullest extreme of evangelical Christianity, and so she begins sort of in a golden place and turns into a yellow that's sort of headachy, a yellow, sort of custard yellow, very bright, eye-strainy sort of yellow.
That's the deal with all three characters. So we have blue for Dean, green for Kessler, and yellow for Sunny. And then the suicide room, which is what brings them all together, we're leaning towards red for that. It's going to be, and I'm going to use the words that Erik told me, he wants death, gunshots, blood.
Reds being the color of gunfire, of violence, of blood.
having worked with Erik, having him, we've been meeting maybe 3 or 4 times a week now. I'm sitting here with my mouse and my keyboard and my monitor, and he's sitting right here, not like over my shoulder, but just watching what I'm doing and guiding me, directing me the same way he would guide the shooting of the film.
I can just sit back on the couch and let him do his magic and sort of direct and say, well, you know, can we do more of this, bring the highs up and the lows down, and can we, you know, add some more of this and some more of that, and just let him, you know, work his magic. And that's really what it is. You start to see an image that has been very clearly defined over months and months and a year of recutting and rewatching, change into something that it becomes a completely new image, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's not a deconstruction of the image in any way. Rather, it elevates the psychology of the narrative, and it's really an amazing process. And he brings ideas to the table. He brings footage to show me. 9 out of 10 times he's on the right track, and sometimes he's gone places that I didn't even expect, and that's just been a really gratifying thing for me.